Hi, I'm Chris Muchler, Principal Enterprise Architect and VCDX 257 from virtualelephant.com. Today, I am going to continue our deep dive into the world of professional development and goal setting. In the previous video, I covered the 3 methods for setting and tracking goals. In this video, I am going to show you how to get started leveraging the hottest AI tools out there for setting and tracking your progress on your professional development. Along the way, we are going to answer the question, how do I get started using these AI tools for my professional development? This video will become your practical guide to kickstarting your career. Go grab something to write with, and let's get started. In the previous video, linked above, I discussed S.M.A.R.T, B.H.A.G, and OKRs to structure your goals around professional development. The first step is leveraging one or all of these methods to set clear, meaningful goals. They are going to form the foundation of your success. I am going to walk you through how I approached 2024 and leveraged all 3 methods for shaping what I am going to be personally focusing on in my professional development. Now, after achieving Principal Architect at VMware in 2023, I shifted my focus to my next big, hairy, audacious goal, becoming a field CTO or CTO at a tech company. Now, I recognized that there were areas that I was going to need to improve in to be ready for that sort of role within an organization. And so I structured all of my 2024 goals around that vision. The 3 main goals that I am working on are: goal number 1, around brand awareness. I am going to improve my brand awareness using my YouTube channel as the primary means of promoting myself, focusing on more topics relevant to CIOs and CTOs and individuals striving to move in that direction. My second goal, goal number 2, again is around brand awareness. Now, it's been a bucket list item for me to write a book on cloud transformation and how to leverage all of the practical knowledge that I have gained by helping various organizations through that very process over the last 5+ years. And my final goal, goal number 3, now this is focused on mentoring. I'm going to find a mentor from my external network that can provide some perspective on what it means to be a CTO and help me evaluate the skill gaps that I have and come up with a plan for addressing them. Now let's dive first into the first tool, Notion, and show you how I structured these goals as OKRs that are measurable and trackable throughout the year. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Notion, it is an all-in-one workspace that's perfect for tracking your progress and managing your goals. There are templates that you can download or you can create for yourself on your own based on your needs. And I've created a system inside of Notion that helps me track my OKRs, manage my daily tasks, and be able to keep track of what I'm working on across various work streams. So let's dive right into Notion right now. So I started using Notion last year as I was preparing for my Principal Architect review board process that I was going to be going through. And I've adapted Notion to meet my needs over the last 6 months to what you see here on the screen. Now you can see that I've created a sort of dashboard that I can look at. And I've gotten into the habit of keeping this dashboard visible throughout the day as I'm working on various tasks. Now, whether that screen is actually visible here on my main desktop or whether I have it visible on an iPad, I still have it somewhere on the desk that I can keep and track what I'm taking care of at various times throughout the day. So one of the things that I've started using in the last month or so to keep me on task is a Pomodoro timer, which you can see here on the bottom left part of the screen. And this timer lets me have some focused time to work on a given task. And so it's this concept of 25 minutes on, 5 minutes off, 25 minutes on, 5 minutes off. And then after you've done that several times, you can take a longer break to be able to gather your thoughts and get ready for the next task. Now, I found that this works really well for me as a way to keep myself on track with what I have going on. I've also found that the 25 minutes works really well, especially as I work from home most days and I have to meet, I have certain meetings throughout the day for work that I have to be able to context switch. So again, being able to context switch, as I've talked about in the past from a VCDX certification standpoint, is extremely critical for me in my everyday workflows. So you can see here on the personal dashboard that I've created this tasks list, and these all link to other parts of the Notion application and templates that I'm leveraging. And they help me understand what I've got going on today, tomorrow, and over the next 7 days. And then I have notes for here for when I want to take notes. Things come up. I might take meeting notes in here depending on what's going on. And then you can see kind of 2 of the active projects that I'm focused on right now. So the first one is this YouTube networking series that I'm working on publishing and recording all of the modules for and publishing out to my channel. And the second one is that cloud transformation book that I've decided to write. And so as I click on like the cloud transformation, you can see that it pulls up a page that it can see what I'm working on. Right now, the open task that I have, the highest priority is finish writing the rough draft for chapter 1, finish writing the book summary, and then actually sending out the book summary to peers to be able to get some feedback before I get too deep into the process of writing the book. And you can see here I have a working title that I've come up with that I've posted here in this note for myself. And then as I have new tasks, as I finish these ones, I'll go through and add additional tasks. And I'll show you how I've actually got most of the tasks actually already created as part of a key result in my OKR section. So that's nice to be able to just have this dashboard up here to be able to look at and see what's going on throughout the day. You can also see here that I have some references, things that I'm actually kind of going back and forth to quite regularly. I'm a big fan, I think, like of a lot of people right now, of the Kelsey brothers. And so I like watching their podcast and listening to it. So I have a quick link there. I've been learning how to do more things with After Effects. And there's this one Instagram reel thing that I've been playing with. And so I have a link back to that YouTube tutorial. And then this top one here actually is around this Notion masterclass. And it actually helped me build out what you see on the screen here from a personal dashboard perspective. And I'm also leveraging several of his templates that he has available. So I have this available to myself. I'll link that one especially in the description of this video so that you can go and see how I've set this up. And like I said, I've come up with this system over the last 6 or 8 months. I had a couple different variations as I determined how I like to use Notion in my everyday workflow until I've gotten to this point here. And I think much like anything, this is going to continue to be a work in progress, and I'll continue to change this over time as I find what works best for me. I have a picture here on the side with a quote that I like to just kind of help me stay grounded. And then some of the other things here you can see is I have this notion of these quick hits. These are like little tasks that maybe pop up throughout the day that I'm just going to quickly work on. They're not necessarily related to any larger objective or key result that I'm working on. So you can even see here that I have record this Notion demo that we're doing right now. So when this is done, I'll just click on that and it'll be done. So you can see a couple other things that I have that I'm working on right now, some things that I've finished. And then here at the bottom, what I've done is I've actually linked back to my key results, and I'm going to go through that part of Notion with you in just a moment. So you can see here around those goals that I told you that I set for myself, right? Grow my brand awareness through my YouTube channel. If I maximize this, I can see I've got a goal of publishing 48 videos this year, hitting 100,000 page views, and growing to over 2,500 subscribers. You can see that I can update these values over time, and then it shows me the progress that I'm making. So again, just kind of keep this in the forefront of me by having it on the dashboard. I'm always seeing it and checking it, and then I can update things. Basically, I'm updating them about once a week on Monday mornings. I'm going through and checking those stats to see how I'm doing. You can see here that I have a key result right now that's really driven around writing, or I have an objective to write the rough draft for the cloud transformation book. And you can see here that I've outlined kind of the first, 14 or 15 things here that I'm working on. So you can see write table of contents, book summary, chapters 1 through 12, the rough draft for all of those, and where I kind of feel like I'm at right now based off of what I've already accomplished. And then again, like I said, some of these things then become tasks that I put up in the dashboard to be able to track, right? And then some things around growing my skills into a CTO role, things like finding a mentor, gaining some more information on an MIT program, the CTO craft program, and so forth as I'm working on these things. And so this is a good way for me to be able to keep these things top of mind for myself so that I'm constantly going back and looking at them. So that's my dashboard, right? This is what's on the screen at all times. Now, the dashboard is really just a collection of the other data that I've put inside of Notion. And so you can see here on the right hand or on the left hand side here, I have this objectives and key results. So you can see here, I have some things around quarters, objectives, and key results. Again, this was a free template that Notion just had that I ingested into my environment and then adapted it to my needs. So you can see here from the objectives, if I click on this, Q1, Q2, Q3, and 4, you can see those really aren't fleshed out yet because I really don't feel like I'm ready to get that far into it. But you can see what I'm trying to accomplish from a Q1 perspective and what I'm looking to accomplish in a Q2 perspective as well. And then each of these are, again, they're linked to these key results that I've gone through and I've predefined. Again, you're able to have this concept of the progress, what your goal is, where you feel like you're currently at already. And then as you go through, you can check these things off. So, you know, my table of contents is pretty much written at this point. So I just go ahead and check that off now to be able to say that that's done. So now it shows as completed. Okay. And then again, some other things around some of the other things. And then throughout the year, every quarter, I'll go through and see, okay, what did I accomplish that I had set out to accomplish in that quarter? Great. What's on tap for the next quarter? Let's be adding those things and making sure that I have a good idea of what I'm going to be working on and accomplishing. Now, one of the other things that I have here is this board view. Now, this is just a little bit more detail for some of those key results. So you can see here for the digital transformation, the cloud transformation ebook that I want to write. This really haven't fleshed out much because most of this information I've actually moved out of here because this was an older version of how I was doing things in Notion and moved them into that key results. But I still keep it around. You can see some other things here that I've done, right? I have some stuff around what I need to do from a legal perspective to make sure that I can publish the book based off of my employment agreement and so forth. And then I have some other stuff in here that's really not linked to the dashboard, but that's important to me. I have my workout routine that I'm going through right now as I focus on my physical fitness and physical health. And so I keep track of that through Notion. Again, one of the things that I love about Notion the most is that it works cross-platform. So I obviously have it here on my desktop. I keep it on my laptop. I have it on my phone. I have it on my work laptop. I have it on my secondary Surface Pro. So whichever device I have in front of me, I have access to this data at all times. And so like for the workout program, I just take my phone to the gym or into my home gym with me. And then as I'm working on things, I just record, you know, my sets, my weights and everything like that. And then it's there for me to be able to then go back so that then if I'm traveling later, I have all of that information with me at all times. And so I really like the way that I'm leveraging Notion today. There's so many different ways that you can do this. You can start out very simple ways. Like I said, there's tons of templates here that you can click on and leverage. You can see here, you can search for all sorts of things, right? Tasks, there, meetings, how to do docs, wiki, all of this sort of stuff. So you can build all of this into your own Notion based off of what you need and require of it. And you can constantly be changing these things to be able to reflect the progress that you're making. And like I said, this really is the central focus of my days. What I typically do is, after waking up and doing my morning workout routine and prayer and scripture study, I come down here and I sit down and I say, okay, what's top of mind? What maybe didn't I finish yesterday that's still outstanding? That's where this quick hits really comes into play. Like, what do I need to add for today to make sure that I accomplish it? I'll add those things in here. I'll look at what I'm trying to accomplish from a longer term goal perspective. So, and then I will just get started and I'll just start hitting that start button right there for the Pomodoro timer. And I will let that run until it beeps at me. And then I'll take a short break and then I'll come back down and tackle the next task. And I've found that that's really helpful to me. Oftentimes I think We think we have to be multitasking all of the time and doing 3 or 4 things at once. I've at least found for me personally that I really just need to focus on one task at a time. Now, I might context switch throughout the day, work on, the book for one 25-minute period, work on, my lab for another 25-minute, work on a video, edit a video, whatever it might be. But as long as I'm just singularly focused on one thing at a time for these 25-minute intervals, I've found that has been game-changing for me over the last year, especially with everything that's always seems to be going on and everything is competing for our attention. Being able to have this timer kind of right up in my face really helps me. And I've tried to even do this a couple different ways. I have a little desk timer that I use device. I've tried using the Echo Show that I have on my desk. I've found that this works best for me. But again, play with it, see what works for you. All sorts of information out there, training classes and so forth on how to leverage Notion even better. But basically find a system that works for you and dive right into it. So now that I've reviewed with you how I'm leveraging Notion as a everyday central focus for all of my work streams, the other tool that I'm regularly using is Todoist. And I'm going to show you again how I'm using Todoist throughout the day to be able to keep track of some of those individual daily routine activities that crop up that need to happen every day, but then also those that just kind of crop up that I need to address maybe really quickly or within a short period of time throughout the day. So let's switch screens here and dive right into Todoist. So Notion is the other tool that I'm actively leveraging almost every day in my work stream as I work on my professional development, keeping track of my goals and all of the little things that come out throughout the day. So again, like Notion, it's another tool that you can take with you regardless of the device that you're leveraging. So you can see here, this is the view that I have on my desktop. The other big one that I leverage is on my phone. Really, this is pretty much the primary way that I leverage Todoist is on my phone. But again, you can have it across multiple devices so that it's always at your fingertips. You can see here today kind of what I mostly use Todoist for is for those daily reminders, things that I do every single day. So you can see here I have some stuff around prayer, reading my Book of Mormon, taking my vitamins, and then whatever the workout is going to be for the day. So today's a Saturday, so typically on a Saturday I do a 60-minute to 2-hour ride on my Peloton. If this was during the week, it would probably tell me to be riding for 45 minutes plus whatever weightlifting workout that I have for the day. Now, one of the other things that I like to leverage Todoist for here is be able to just, add quick items. So if my wife's like, listen, you've got to run out to the store, go to the grocery store, and then she'll give me a couple things to get, eggs, milk, butter, whatever it might be. I'll just do that and throw that in here. And then that way, when I get to the store, I remember what I need to grab. And then as soon as I'm done doing it, I just check it off. So again, quickly can add things in, very easily depending on what device I'm using. So one of the other things that I leverage Todoist for every day is be able to track some things that I want to follow up on that usually come across my Twitter feed. So throughout the day, I might be checking Twitter and see something that interests me that I'm like, ooh, I'd like to spend a little bit more time diving deeper into that. Could be a training class, could be a GitHub repository for a new Kubernetes project, or it could just be a long form article or series of articles that I want to be able to go back to. So what I do is from X, I will quickly copy the link and then I will create an entry inside of this project in Todoist that I have that's called Twitter. And then I will put things in here. So you can see it's very eclectic. I have stuff around the AWS Well-Architected Framework course. I have some things in here like Jenkins CI/CD pipeline course because that's one of the things that I want to actually implement inside of my own lab environment. Things like a book, a Hubble cheat sheet for when you're using Hubble inside of Kubernetes. Again, Azure's been another focus for me for the last 6 months or so. So some training material, all sorts of different things. And I will just, add these things in to be able to have them. Some of these I leave in here at all times. Others I will click off and remove once I've finished reading them or looking through them and either, maybe determining like, oh, it was an article, I'm done with it, or, not really interested in that anymore. So I'll just go ahead and go ahead and remove this. This list kind of goes up and down with the number of entries that are there, but it is always there. And again, because I always have Todoist on my phone and pretty much always have my phone with me, it's a very easy way for me to keep track of some of these things, to be able to just leverage this. So again, the two things, Notion and Todoist, work really hand in hand for me. Again, Notion is really that central work stream tool that I leverage day in and day out. I always have it visible for me, whereas Todoist is that quick hit thing. You know, something comes up, just grab your phone, add in a new entry, throw it in there, and then when you're done with it, check it off, right? And so it becomes very easy for you to stay in the flow, not get distracted, really not spend too much time on things when you shouldn't. You know, throw it in there, Todoist. Okay, I'll look at that later when I have some time. Okay, now I have some time. What did I add in there? Let me see what I can go check through and accomplish and get done in a really quick period of time. So that's how I'm using these tools for my professional development. Like I said, for you, I would strongly encourage you, if you're not already using Notion, go download it, start playing around with it. Look at some of the masterclass videos that are out there on how to leverage Notion. There's so much out there available for free that you can just start leveraging, both from a training perspective and from a template perspective for what you want to do. So none of these things realistically should cost you any money. They'll just cost you some time. Play with them, see what works for you, and then adapt them. And like I said, these tools really help me be able to stay on track of my vision, right? My vision for me over the next 12 to 18 to 24 months is I want to take my skill set that I have now, grow it further so that I can position myself to be able to find a role as a CTO within a tech company. And I'm using these tools to be able to track those OKRs, be able to measure myself against how I'm doing throughout this year as I prepare myself for that. So it's been really great. I think that these work for me. Again, everyone's going to be different. Find a system that works for you. The last piece of advice that I have for you is to regularly review your goals and tasks in both Todoist and Notion. Celebrate your achievements and adjust your strategies as needed. Remember that professional development is a journey, it's not a destination. And there you have it, really a practical guide to kickstarting your professional development journey with AI tools like Todoist and Notion. Start by setting clear goals. Break them down into tasks like I showed you. Prioritize, track your progress, and review them regularly. By using these tools, you will be well on your way to achieving your career aspirations. As always, if you have any questions or would like to share your own tips on goal setting and tracking, please leave a comment below and reach out to me on Twitter. As always, please be sure that you subscribe to the channel, like this video, and enable those notifications. I look forward to talking to you next time.